felt like there were a lot of candidates here just because this roster does have so many intriguing pieces. What if Dylan Brooks continues the offensive ascension that we saw in spurts during the playoffs? I don't think he's going to.
Wait. Offensive ascension continued?
He had one great game on offense, which is a lot more than he previously had. Well, I believe that by definition is an ascension.
I think if you have to pick him, you probably need to pick him for another team now. I don't think he finishes the season in Memphis, but
fair enough. DeAnthony Melton, long been one of the more underrated players. I think he is a totally viable choice. What if Jarrett Culver finally does something? What if Jaren Jackson Jr. stays healthy and starts to live up to that potential? Ja Morant is a perfectly reasonable pick, but I'm going with Desmond Bane because
is he reasonable in the sense that we weren't picking Anthony Edwards or LaMelo Ball? If you're picking Michael Porter Jr.,
yeah, I'm staying away from more obvious ones, with the exception of MPJ.
I guess I just view him as already a star. Like I don't think
he's not an all-star.
He hasn't been an all-star, but I view him already in that vein. Whereas Michael Porter Jr. still needs to crack the click.
Which is why I was willing to pick Michael Porter Jr.
Right. I know you didn't pick Ja Morant, but I almost feel like saying break it unless you're saying he's going to break out into an MVP candidate. I feel like it's almost insulting to how good he actually is.
Totally fair. I rescind the consideration.
All right, now tell me more about Xavier Tillman.
But Desmond Bane, I think he is a very realistic choice to fill a lot of the vacated minutes when Grayson Allen left. Just an awesome 3-and-D guy. And even if he stays fully within that role, with more minutes, there is going to be a lot more recognition that he is one of the bigger draft steals we've seen in the last few years. Because the three-point stroke is ridiculously talented in so many different situations as a trailer in transition, catch and shoot on relocations, out of the corners, little bit off the dribble every once in a while. And then the defense, the versatility, the length, the aggression. He is that guy in that mold. And I think that the opportunity is there for him to play a more prominent role within the rotation, especially if, as you think, Dylan Brooks and or Kyle Anderson is moved at some point during the season, there's even more of an opportunity.
My pick is Desmond Bane as well, and I do think there are a lot of candidates here. I really want Jarrett Culver to work out. I just don't know if he has the way he wants to play on offense. I don't know if he has the speed to do that. Anyway, and I want to pick Jaren Jackson Jr. I
thought about it for sure.
And I think he's a viable pick. This is not someone who has been the Michael Porter Jr. in the Anthony Edwards territory. And it's not even just because he wasn't healthy last year. Just defensively, got to keep his hands to himself, prove that he could defend the 5. And you probably need to see more variance from him on offense. Anyway, I echo everything you said about Desmond Bane. I don't want to read too much into Summer League because of how the rosters are built there. He was dribbling into threes. He was freezing defenses while attacking at varying speeds. He gave them a lot of secondary playmaking. I would almost advocate, based on how Memphis has sort of burned down the playoff trajectory, it seems like, get rid of whoever you need to get rid of so that you can clear minutes. For one, Zaire Williams, because I'm officially in love with him after Summer League too, but also Desmond Bane I want to see on ball Desmond Bane. Yep. I get rid of Tyus Jones, trade DeAnthony Melton, trade Dylan Brooks, trade Kyle Anderson, whoever you need to get the ball in Desmond Bane's hands more. I need to see it. I'm sold on him not even being able to optimize himself within the role that you described. I'm on the as high as people are in Sadiq Bey and his ball skills. I think Desmond Bane has a higher ceiling than Sadiq Bey on offense, and I'm talking substantially just after watching what he's able to do with the ball in his hands. I hope he gets that opportunity in Memphis this season because if he does, I would argue you cannot talk me in to anyone else on this roster, and that includes Jaren Jackson Jr. Not saying he'll be better necessarily because I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is more of an anomaly at his position, yada, yada, yada. I am all aboard the Desmond Bane bandwagon. I don't plan on deplaning anytime soon.